Hello, dear channel. Hello, hello. We're back. I'm back. We are here live 2023, at least here in Mexico City. And we're with Blender 3.4 and jewelry design, 3D jewelry design. So obviously let me take a moment to promote the live session. See if I can find my own stream. Here we are. So, hello, welcome, everybody, welcome. Okay, great. So, the topic today, I'm going to wait a couple of minutes, like I said. Just to promote this. So let's share the link. Here we are. Let's go to Facebook. So feel free to use the chat if you have. So today there's nothing very specific planned. Maybe chains, maybe, but also it's going to depend. Hello, chat. If anybody in the chat, the first best ID that comes out in the chat, I'm going to do that. So if you're a subscriber or not even, well, you have to write something in the chat and I will obviously judge your ID, but I hope it's always a good idea. So we'll do that. And hello. Hello, George Cabrera. ¿Eres de México? Are you from Mexico? I'm just guessing. Solo adivinando del nombre. Tal vez de España. Tal vez de Ecuador. Tal vez de, quién sabe, Honduras. Hay mucha gente que me sigue en Latinoamérica. De hecho, un saludo a toda la gente de Latinoamérica. Y entonces, ok, está bien. Sigamos promoviendo. Vamos a promover. Ok, vamos a. Let's go to Blender here. Let's promote the live stream for a second. Just starting. So I will be here about 1 hour today. I'm very happy, yeah, to be here, to be back, because I moved a couple of months ago, and I have a lot of work to do. So I had to set up everything again. You know, when you move, you change place. It's sometimes hard to find your new parameters. And here I am. It's February, so yeah, not even in January. Generally, I start in January. This year, what I plan to do is that because I have a lot of requests, I have a lot of requests, so I have a lot of work every day. I need to change a bit the, well, this year I'm going to do live streams, and the live streams I will transform into tutorials, because that's the best I can do, and I think it's going to be more interesting. Also because like this, it can be a bit more dynamic, and also because for the people following the live streams, they can always ask questions and give me ideas. It's not that I don't have any ideas. If today nobody is giving an idea in the chat, in about like 5 minutes, I'm going to do chains. So, like I said, I'm promoting the live stream so more people connect here. Pretty jewelry modeling live. Here we are. So chat. I guess the chat is not very chatty today. Come on, somebody, express your requests, because I'm open right now for like 3 more minutes. So you better. Oh, this is not the image. Where's the image? I need the okay, here it is. Perfect. Okay, so we are live. So I checked, the last time I did a live stream was a month ago, like almost 6 months ago. That's really bad. Okay, so. Okay, well, let's start. Yeah, it's pretty great. Why did I stop teaching? Well, the funny thing is that I didn't stop teaching. I closed the school. I stopped teaching like traditionally. I closed the school. I had a jewelry school here in Mexico, so I stopped teaching because I got a very severe leg accident. And hello, and I had to change my lifestyle, so I had to quit teaching. So I closed the school, then I moved, then came the pandemic, so that just confirmed that it was really time for me to retire from teaching. But I am teaching online private classes, Blender 3D modeling. Generally it's modeling jewelry, but it's Blender 3D modeling and sculpting and rendering and animation. So I teach online private classes using Blender. So I retired from how is it called? I retired from real life teaching. No, but online. So from what's the opposite from online? I don't even, because I do everything online. I don't even know what's the opposite from online. Offline. So I quit online teaching, local, in-house, or not online. Offline, real life, well, whatever, everything is real life for me. So how much? Okay, that's a pretty good question, because I do have let me go to, so actually I can publish that information now because it is, let me find the information. It is the prices of teaching. Okay, write me to my Instagram, or now we're here. Let me put the prices. Let me see if I find an email somewhere. So the prices. Did I send this information to? Online costs, teaching, online classes. Here we are. So the prices are as following. Let me copy paste this right here. Here, live. Here are the prices. 24 hours of teaching, private, personalized, because obviously with me, you're going to learn what you need to learn. So if you're, and also generally I teach to people who already know something about 3D, but they have specific doubts and they want to get faster and better and more efficient using Blender, and also the way how to resolve a jewelry design. That's something you can learn. So it's what you learn with me. Remember, I've been teaching for 18 years now because it's 1 year more. Last year was 17 years, so now it's 18 years of teaching. Okay, so the price is 24 hours, 960 USD. 12 hours is 580, and 6 hours is $390. Okay, so, and the question from Burak Budak, how much time do I work on a ring? Generally like 2 hours or 1 hour, 1 to 2 hours. Exactly like today. Today's stream is going to be 1 hour. So let's say starting from now that I made all the preparations. And well, let's start modeling. So what we're going to do, oh, and also let me turn on the screencast. I do have the screencast right here. Okay, screencast is now on. You can see the operations there. Obviously very important, the screencast in Blender, and teaching also. So I generally take 1 to 2 hours for a ring. And actually, let's do that today. Okay, so basically what we do first we go to a, let's go to a ring size chart. So for people who don't know where to start, you just go to the internet, you type in ring size chart. So you're going to get tables like, so this is very, very basic. Obviously, generally I don't teach this level anymore, but during the live streams, we're generally here to talk about everything. Okay, so first you need to know the size of the finger for the ring. And obviously, generally we design rings because in the jewelry industry, the thing that we are mostly paid to do is to design rings. Rings are the top selling product in the jewelry business almost all around the world. Obviously, I would say that depends a lot on the country and the culture. Let's say some of the most important countries for jewelry in the world would be India. I guess the most productive, and also depends for gold and sales and usage of jewelry. I would say India. For silver, it is Mexico. That's something that hasn't changed much over decades. Then also very famous for gold, Colombia. Colombia is famous for gold and emerald. And but there are not that many jewelers left in Colombia, honestly. They're more now in Mexico. There are a lot of silver smithing, silver jewelry oriented manufacturers and jewelers, because Mexico is the most productive country for silver mining and also silver jewelry. Then obviously Italy is very famous for the chains. Italian chains are very famous because they developed a lot of technology decades ago to manufacture very fine, very high quality chains, the Italian chains, made with a lot of technology that's still up to date, doesn't change much. Then the country of high jewelry is obviously France, because the tradition of making high jewelry by hand actually was always between France, Italy, and England. Then Spain, but Spain, sorry if you're Spanish, or I'm going to offend somebody, but anyway, it's because of cultural, historical, and technological facts, really. Spain is obviously very productive about jewelry design, but they're, France has more tradition. So the French culture is more exigent and proud of the high jewelry standards in Paris, obviously, but in France in general. And then that exported to the US, because a lot of tradition in the US come from the people who emigrated to the US, a lot of French people. So obviously the American tradition of high jewelry is pretty strong, but it has not that many years compared to the French tradition. So, well, obviously, if you've been doing something very well for centuries, because the French tradition for jewelry started in the 17th century, so that's already more than 300 years, you get better at it, because people keep training and teaching and getting better at something than something obviously the United States became a country afterwards, and the tradition in the US started later. So obviously they have less time doing jewelry compared to France. And that's true for many countries. Then I would say that India has, some countries like Morocco do a lot of silver and handcrafted jewelry. They have 2,000 years of tradition of making jewelry design and jewelry manufacturing. Okay, so let's get started at, let's start modeling something. And like about finding, are you from Czech? Okay, you should keep doing AR technology and models for the metaverse. That's where jobs are going now. Everything is going to the metaverse. That's why I have a lot of clients, because they want 3D models and they're using jewelry in the metaverse and selling jewelry in the metaverse. All right. So obviously, keep doing that, because finding a job really for the jewelry industry, like a 3D jewelry designer, that's very hard no matter where you live. And also because the jewelry industry makes a huge mistake. Finding jobs is bad. It's hard. The jewelry industry jewelry industry hires graphical designers and it's wrong. Okay, that's the worst mistake that the jewelry industry makes all around the world is that they hire graphical designers. Yes, you heard me well. Graphical designers to design jewelry. That's wrong. That's bad. That's why actually the jewelry industry in general, obviously some specific jewelry houses like Cartier and very famous brands, they have jewelry designers with jewelry design training proper, but most jewelry manufacturers, they hire graphical designers, and that's wrong because graphical designers, they know nothing or almost nothing. Well, let's say they know nothing about jewelry. That's not their job. It's like if they would hire a jewelry designer to be an architect. I mean, it's obviously wrong. That's not my field. Okay, I may be good at modeling, I may be good at proportions, I may be good at designing, so I have a lot of historical knowledge. Actually, someday I'm going to make a show about what it really takes to be a jewelry designer. Actually, I already have the material prepared, so it's coming next week's, next month. This year is coming anyway. Okay, so let's go to Blender now. Okay. What about? Okay, so I was talking about the sizes. So add mesh or curve depends, but let's start. Mesh circle align to the view. And that's great. Now vertex is 120. Radius, let's do a size 7, 17.3 divided by 2. So I was talking about the sizes here, ring size chart. So every country has or shares a ring size chart, and you're going to find letters also, like England or some other country, they use letters. So that's also a problem sometimes, but you can find the letter and you can find the chart and you can find this is the inside diameter of the finger of the circle for the ring. And it's not really easy to, okay, like today I'm going to do a ring size 7 and it's 17.3 millimeters. Also now almost the entire world, even the Americans are using the metric system. So I do have clients asking jewels in inches. It's not much of a problem. I mean, it's very easy to convert, but beware that most charts are using the metric system. So 17.3 millimeters here. And this is exactly what I use here. Like now here, it's the radius. So it's 17.3 divided by 2. So now in Blender, never forget that in Blender, you can make mathematical expressions in the numerical fields. So I can put in 17.3 divided by 2. That's the radius. And now also generally you are going to center. Okay, so now actually start naming things. This is size 7 ring reference, so ring ref. Now don't forget to save. Let's call it live. Today is 8th February 2023. Save Blender file. We're good. Great. So this is how it begins. Just a reference. Generally, I remove the light, but I keep the camera. I just hide it. And we are. Okay, now from there, generally you need gemstones. So I'm going to show something very basic here. In Blender, these are the basic meshes. Now there's a very famous add-on. So let's go to preferences. And I think it's called extra objects. Okay, so here you go to the preferences, the add-ons. So these add-ons, so now many people know that I don't use add-ons because I don't need them for what I do, and because I'm always using, almost always using the latest version of Blender, I prefer to use everything that comes already inside Blender instead of add-ons, all right? But here I'm just showing what happens if you want to use the add mesh extra objects. So turn it on. Okay, now it's turned on. So these are objects that if you go to add mesh, now you have actually diamonds. You have, so that's the add-on extra meshes that's already inside of Blender. You just need to turn it on. Okay, but what's going to happen? Let's go and bring the brilliant diamond. And I'm going to show the difference and what the problem is. Here you can obviously work with the factors, which is pretty nice. But, well, basically it's just that gemstone. Okay, so there's this diamond in Blender, and it's pretty good. Now, here there's a problem already with the sizes of these, like this face here, in fact, has another shape. So you would need to do an Alt-Z, Alt-A-B, and scale this almost like that. And make it lower. Okay, this is, you can see. So what you're, well, you need to model your own gemstone. Okay, because otherwise the problem you're going to have is that you're going to face proportion problems. Okay, so now obviously you know that I have my own library. You can find it on the Blender market, but if you don't want to support the channel, it's okay. I mean, you don't have to pay anything. I'm not selling, really. I don't need to sell that. Obviously, it's, if you like my work and want to support the channel, thanks for buying my access on the Blender market. Okay, but there's also a video I made. So there's a long video. 3D gemstones. So that's all. That's especially for people who joined the channel. Okay, this one very recently. Okay, so there's a full video. Let's just pass the publicity here on YouTube, obviously. All right, so there's an entire video where I show how to model gemstones, and not only the basic diamond, because we are using many different shapes, and you need to find the proper tables and charts and technical drawings for the gemstones to get the proper proportions. So if for any reason you don't want to support my channel, that's okay. You can always go and follow this tutorial, and that's a complete tutorial about modeling gemstones in Blender. Okay, if I have clients, that uses 3D models in the metaverse. Yeah, because yeah, my clients are not in the well, they're in the metaverse, but they ask 3D models because they use them in the metaverse. So it's not exactly that I have customers on the metaverse. Well, yes, there are customers that, because the metaverse is 3D, they need 3D products in the metaverse, but I'm not selling jewelry in the metaverse yet myself. I sell the 3D model that these guys use in the metaverse. So my job is to make 3D models. Okay, so charts, gemstones. So now I have the, this is going obviously very slow, but that's not too bad. Okay, let's go to your gemstone library now. So where's my gemstone library? Name. Gemstones. And this is the upgraded collection. Let's go to object. And I'm going to bring the emerald cut. So here it is. So obviously we can see that I need to make the gemstone a lot bigger. End menu, please. End menu, please. Item. Okay. Let's center the gemstone. Now the size of the gemstone, let's go at 10 by 8 and 60. Yeah, that would be like what, 4. Okay. So then after the finger size reference, you generally bring the gemstone. So here I'm going to use, this is going to be this emerald central stone here. Now let's append also obviously the diamond. Now these are going to be side stones. So this is going to be a halo ring. A halo in jewelry is not the video game. Please don't mess things up. A halo ring is a big gemstone in the center with smaller side stones around the central gemstone. That's a halo because it's around the main principal center gemstone. So here generally we go at 2 millimeters. So to copy paste the scale for the z-axis. Okay, so these are diams, and always start at 001. This is the tradition in Blender. All right. So we have the gemstones, we have the finger size reference, and let's start designing settings. So here what I'm going to do is add mesh plane. And okay, we're going to activate automatically the mirror based on the central gemstone on the X and Y axis. Don't forget to do a Control-A rotation on the central object, so you have 0 rotation, and the axis like X and Y, X corresponds to the correct direction. Now, edit mode, please. Let's start. I always start slow and end up very fast. That's almost always the case. So now the gemstone, so I bring the gemstones first because I need to know the size for the settings and distances between the stones, right? Okay, so here edit mode, Alt Z, let's start working. So I need more space here. Let's move it a bit. It can go, well, let's go just close to the edge, but not exactly at the edge of the central gemstone. Let's keep on editing. So, edit me this, edit me that. Shift D, rotate 90 degrees. Let's bring this here. Extrude on the y-axis. Now here, let's connect this like that. First, obviously, I need to present the gemstone at the corner here. So now at least I can know that this well, let's work on the normals out and outside and flip again. This is better. All right. Now here, I'm going to subdivide this. So I can do it maybe like this, but this would be ugly. So I'm going to come here and I'm going to subdivide this again. Okay, this is pretty good for the spacing. So obviously that makes, well, I need a bit more. Let's move it here one by one. Okay, this distance is pretty good. Now, go to global coordinates. Just check that your X position here is the same. Copy paste. This is to align the vertex. Here it's on the y-axis. So yes, in jewelry, get used to working with numerical inputs. Work with the numbers. You want very precise structures, and sometimes the only option is to use numbers. Okay, here it's very easy to distribute the gemstone. And what is not always easy is to make them fit properly. Obviously, they can be very close to each other, but they can't overlap. Okay, we have this. Now here, I don't really like it yet. And this is because of the proportion or of the principal central gemstone or the side diamonds. Because what I would like is that this corner gemstone well, I want it to fit more precisely at the center of the corner, like here. So what I'm going to do is use less gemstones here. Now take the gemstones, do a Control J, do a mirror on the X and Y based on the central gemstone. Okay, so this is a bit better. Now, here, let me merge at a closer distance. Let's go at 0.2. All right, and let's bring this here. So I'm going to give a solidify modifier. Let's say 0.7 maybe. Okay, let's go at 0.75. That's the thickness. And what I want also here is that I don't want this really to be flat. So let's apply the thickness modifier. Now I can take these vertices here and move them slightly up. This is what 0.6. So I have some angle. Okay, now the gemstones, they need to follow. What happened to the camera feed? Okay, I guess. Come on. Ah, it's the battery. All right. I should have known. Okay, let's remove the feed of this system. We don't need the camera. Okay, the gemstones. Here. Go to the snap, face project, center, align rotation, affect, move, and rotation. Alt L, Now, when I grab the gemstone, it snaps to the angle. So do an L, select the gemstone. And let's bring that here and there. Okay, here I have a division that I don't like. I want this angle to come there. And this one to come there. This is better for the corner. Now here I need to do the same. I'm going to merge vertices here and there. I don't need them anymore. So the corner is a lot better, but these vertices need to be merged. So let's go to merge by distance. I need something like 0.05. Okay, this is. Now we'll go back to the gemstones, edit mode. And the snap is on to the faces. So now I can properly adapt the gemstones to that angle. All right, and center that. Okay, this is pretty nice to start. So obviously the center stone. Let's move it a bit higher. Let's take this a bit. Don't forget to turn off the snap. It's always fun when you forget to turn it off. Where things are going to happen. Okay, we have this is pretty good. I need more distance for the design here. Okay. Now we need some borders. So from this, I'm going to go to loop cut. I'm going to loop cut here, factor 0.7. So that's the advantage of keeping quads all the time. Minus 0.7. Okay, you can make loop cuts if you have quads, all right? And now, because I have quads and I made the loop cuts, I can select these faces and I can extrude them to make very nice borders here. All right. Because generally you're going to have very small borders for the setting of the gemstones. Okay, here the merge distance is smaller than this, so I need to put that closer here. Using the merge on the mirror modifier. And now we can start working with the bevel modifier and the subdivision modifier. Okay, here I'm not going to use the subdivision modifier because it does this to the corners and that's not necessary here. What I'm going to do is have more segments for the bevel and make a very, well, let's adapt, let's tweak the amount of the bevel. Okay, so this is pretty nice because the halo has some angle. Okay, now the prongs, add mesh sphere. Let's do what 50 by 25. The prong generally should be at 0.7. 0.8 is pretty good. Side view, keep the sphere like this. B and make the prong like this. Okay. Exited mode. Here we want to move the center, which is the orange point right there. So move everything up, because now with the snap turned on, let's call this prong 001, 0.001. Thank you. Okay. Let's grab and let's start distributing the prongs for the prong setting. Here we're going to need 2 at least. That's pretty common. Here, so keep the symmetry for the prongs, and these are shared prongs. It's very basic also. Okay, here and here and there. And okay, so now let's go to the outliner. Let's select all the prongs here. Control J. Put the mirror X and Y based on the central gemstones. And if I forgot, let's go to edit mode, L, Shift D. Okay, T selection. What happened to this guy? Okay, it's the other guy. Okay, this prong. I need it. Okay, let's make a select origin to geometry. It's funny because now you know if something failed. Sometimes you need to actually, let's turn off this and let's turn off that for a second. Okay, let me tweak this little prong here. Check that the Z position is exactly the same than the other ones. It's prettier here, and Shift D, I have the middle one right there. Okay, take these guys, Control J, and we have all the prongs again. Let's do a merge at point 1 because of the overlaps. So they really merge all together because of the mirrors. So this is a halo, but we need to do a Shift D. Let's call these cutters. These are very basic diamond cutters. I don't always do that like that. Sometimes I need more precise. Let's do Boolean with these cutters here. You need to cut positions. Okay, here we have a problem because of the overlapping. The Boolean is failing. So here I need a remesh. Let's go to remesh. Let's put the remesh. Let's put the remesh after. Nope. Okay, he's still not happy. So the cutters, they have the same problems. We have overlapping geometry. Maybe on the solid of the halo, or maybe on the cutters. So let's go and see the cutters. Let's do a remesh on the cutters here. Let's hide them. Okay, this solved the Boolean issue, okay? Generally, when Booleans fail, it's because of overlapping bases or things like that. All right, we have this, pretty nice. Now let's make some prongs for, okay, add mesh curve, Bezier. Let's go to side view, so let's put it to the side. Edit mode, transparency. We're going to make prongs. So remember, we need the prongs for rendering are different than the prongs for manufacturing. So I'm going to model prongs for rendering. Here, let's go with 45 here. All right. And let's Let's go to geometry. Obviously, the resolution, let's go at least at 50. Now, geometry, it's round. So round bevel depth 0.45. Resolution 24. And I have this. Don't forget to fill caps. Okay, save this. Now here, mean radius is at 0.5. And let's hide this gemstone for a second. Okay, I have this, but here I need to subdivide because I want it to be thicker. And then I want it to be thinner. So let's put 0.1 here, but here, okay, this is pretty much how it goes. I don't want them that sharp. You could make that, some designers do them sharp like this, but that's not what I want. So I need to expand the handle. So if you can't achieve, I don't like these thicknesses. That's because I need a taper curve. So let's add a Bezier curve. Let's call this the taper curve. Well, taper here. Now, geometry object, this curve. Come on, that curve here. All right, now let's start. I don't know what is okay. Round. But I need the taper object. Here it is. Okay, thanks. So what I want is that the end is pointy, okay, like this, and this is thicker. Okay, so you have more control, more finer control using taper curves. Now, let's see. Let's make this double. You can group Control J on the curves. And let's put the mirror. Then I'll check obviously the proportions with the stone. So the central stone is here, and let's bring it higher here. All right, this is pretty good. Prongs do overlap the metal. That's correct. And let's move them here. So what I can do is make these guys longer. That's pretty nice. Let's adapt this. Okay, this is pretty good. These are prongs, center prongs. Center prongs. Okay, we have this. Now, well, the halo is done. That's pretty good. Now let's start working on some ring body, ring shank. So let's add front view, add curve, Bezier curve, view, edit mode. Sorry. Just on that curve, edit this guy, and let's start creating the body of the ring. Let's extrude this. Obviously, you do first you do, then you tweak. So I have this centered there. Now let's create a mesh plane. Let's make it 2, 4. Center it on X, edit mode, W bevel vertices here. Now convert this to a curve, and this is going to be called profile. Let's make this a curve. Okay. So now I have a curve, and we can simply go to geometry, object bevel this friend here, and we just need to tweak fill caps, min tilt 90 degrees, and let's start adapting. Okay, so this friend is going to be at radius 0.8 and it ends at 0.6. Now we have this, start tweaking distances to the finger size. So there you must be precise. We need more resolution. Let's go at 60. Okay, and here I need to, let me subdivide here. Okay, the ending is gotta be at 0.5. Okay, and let's make this, we're going to adapt this later. Okay, this is pretty classical. Let's go even less. Let's go at 0.7. Let's go at, okay, I'm going to do this like that. Obviously, I'm going to start working in this direction too. Let's make this shank double the size. Okay, now here we need mirror. I keep tweaking the design here. X and Y based on the central gemstone. Okay, this is the beginning, but it's ugly. Let's make it not that wide. Let's go to 3.5. That's pretty good. Let's do some overlap here and there. Now merging at 0.1. Now here the merging, I'm going to make it very close. So let's close this part better here. And let's keep tweaking this and that. All right. So here, obviously, I'm not done. I want, okay. This starts to be a bit more interesting. Just check that you're not overlapping one of the diamonds from the halo. Stay on the inside right there. Okay, now let's take these three vertices, do a Shift D. I'm going to close the shank at the center here. So this one needs to be smaller. Let's go at 0.6, 0.5, and 0.4. Now, let's adapt the proper shape and position right there. Something here. So that's the bridge. Okay. Under the halo. And let me see the entry point there. Okay, here we might need some tilting, right? And put it inside the metal. Okay, this is pretty good. The shape there. So here I can do whatever I want. Because yes, let's come here. This is pretty nice. Yeah, this is pretty nice. All right, then I need some secondary diamonds. Okay, let's do a Shift D of that. Let's keep these vertices, Control I, delete all the other vertices. Let me take this median point. Okay, let's move it. Let's rotate it on Z. But it's funny because it doesn't change. Okay, whatever. Here I need to change the tilt. This one is going to be 100, and this is going to be smaller, 0.3, 5, 4. So you know what? All right, why not? Let's tilt this. So now here I would like some diamonds, in fact, to come there. So this could be coming like this. Okay, but not so much on the inside. I need to be more here, and here we're going to close, so we need more merging. Or okay, here merge at 0.5, even maybe at 1. Okay, merging at 1 is almost good. How much resolution? Okay, so the merging 0.7. Oh, we do need this. That part is not very pretty. So here sometimes, let's remove the mirror. I need to cross the center, and I will need to make this a mesh. This will have to be a mesh. So okay, so the other one is, because I don't want a mesh, in fact. Let's keep the mirror based on the central gemstones there. Okay, so this is pretty. Just there on the back, we'll deal with that later when we make the ring as a mesh, all right? So that's pretty neat. We want some smaller diamonds, so here I'm going to get 0.45, and let's bring this here on the inside. Side view. Okay, there's side view. This is pretty nice. I could try this. This is very, very nice. Yeah, that's a great way to solve all my problems, basically. 0.3 here, and let's go there and keep tilting. Okay, let's just find. Okay, this is great. This is modern, and this is really pretty. All right, so now we need gemstones on the sides. So I'm going to take a diamond, edit mode, Alt A L, shift the Enter P selection. Now let's take the loose diamond. Where are you, loose diamond? Here. Remove the mirror. Let's do an object set origin to geometry. Let's turn on the snap. Now this diamond is going to be 1.5. I would like 1.5. Right, let's put all the rotations to 0. Okay, when the snap is going crazy, turn off the snap, center the diamond, reset. Okay, I need to append a new diamond because that one has rotations and it's basically dead. All right, this small diamond at 1.5, copy paste, DMs small, let's call them small 0.01 save. Right, let's go back at snap turn on. Now shift D. Okay. You see the diamonds flipping around. It means that we have a normal problem, face orientation problem. Oh, obviously. Let's take the curves, edit mode. A. No, wait. It might be on the section on the profile here. Let me do a segment, switch direction. Great. So it's on the curve beveling that I had the normal orientation problem. You can see that because the diamonds would flip when using the snap. So you must know right away where it comes from. Now, this is going to get the mirror on X and Y based on the central gemstone here. And let's go here. Should be. Let's start distributing this. Okay, here I have this gemstone, this curve that wasn't, it was coming out. I don't want it to come out. All right, here and one more diamond here should be okay. So we have small diamonds here. Yes. Now I want some diamonds here also. This is too big. All right, let's remove this for a second. This diamond needs to be 125. Copy paste. Turn on the mirror back. Okay, so these are a bit smaller and there are not that many fitting, but we are going to make them fit because we want diamonds everywhere. You know? Okay, this is pretty nice. Okay. Okay, what else can we do? We can make some milgrain. Let's add mesh sphere. The sphere at 1. I'm going to create an edge around here, a small decoration. So let's go mirror based on the central gemstone here. With the snap turn on, yes. So this is called a milgrain, 1,000 prongs. That's how it's called. Grains. This is a very old tradition. It has thousands of years. Around the world in jewelry making. So you can do this by hand because well, basically there are not that many spheres. This. Now go to all these spheres with shift in the outliner, do a Control J and call this milgrain. Here we are. Save this. Now we need prongs and side. Okay, let me show you. We need some borders here. So let's go to add Bezier curve. Let's go to edit mode. I'm going to erase this vertex. The snap is turned on. So let me go with the snap turned on. Here you can see it's following the surface. Now control left mouse button, that creates a new vertex. So let me come here and there. And now let's start working on some thickness for this border here. This is the test. This is the border. It's going to be the testing. Okay, here let me use something similar to this. Shift DY. This is a new section. Let's go to edit mode. I'm going to make it square and let me rotate it 45 degrees. It's going to be slightly SY0 to level this, SY0 to level this, SX0, SX0 to level that. So this is square now. This profile is for this border. So let's call it border profile. Border profile right there. Okay, now take the curve. That's a basic curve, so it's a new one, so we need to tweak the resolution. It's with 50. Geometry, bevel object, the border profile, it's this one. Obviously the scale, so this friend should be like at 0.65 at least. Yeah, that's pretty nice. Now the border curve, fill the caps, and let's work on the design and some tweaking. So let's turn off the snaps sometimes. Let's bring this nice and neat on the inside, and let's tweak the tilt. Let's go at 45. So this creates a very nice border for the settings of the side diamonds. So now here, let me maybe even come higher there. Let's hide it inside the decoration sphere right there. Let's come out a bit. Let's start tweaking this. Okay, there. I need to tweak the tilt. It's not necessarily 45 because I need space for this diamond. All right. So now here, let's turn the snap on again because I'm going to do the other side of this border. And let's turn off the snap and let's start working on the fine tweaking. All right, and what else? So the advantage of using a curve here, we can go at 3 vector, is that we can have a lot more control on the design. Okay, this is really nice. Let's turn on the mirror on X and Y based on the central gemstone, like that. Okay, it's starting to be really nice. We need to tweak some little details. This diamond must come out by 0.2 decimals generally. Let's go at 0.15 for this one and 0.1 for this one. All right, then we'll bring the prongs. Now let's tweak this a bit more to the center of the border. Okay, and there's a distance problem there. Don't forget to turn up the snap. All right, so let's tweak this border. The shape, I think I want it to be straighter like this. This is obviously I am speeding, but I'm always checking that the things that I'm doing here in Blender in 3D, they are totally manufacturable. You can 3D print this without any problem. So if you watch the live streams, you understand that I do that systematically. I know the scales because I've been printing for decades now. Well, the first design I sent to 3D printing was in 2008. So that's 14 years of 3D printing. Then I started printing myself in 17, 16. So that's like 5 or 6 years of 3D printing myself at home, or well, in my business. And now my clients do the printing and they do the manufacturing. I don't manufacture anymore. Okay, so this is pretty nice. I've been tweaking already much enough. Now let's take a prong, edit. Okay, here I'm going to have the same problem. Let's create a new prong. So add mesh sphere at 0.7 and edit mode. Alt C, Alt A, B. B, let's select this and make the prong there. Now select everything to shift the center of gravity. We want it to be lower here. Okay, this is pretty good. Like here, all these prongs, let me select them and move them a bit on the Z-axis. I want them a bit more out. This is great. Now this is prong 0.0 prong size 0.001. Let's save. All right. Let's turn on the snap. These are going to be a bit smaller. It's going to be at 0.6. Okay, and now let's grab. Okay, now here the prong is too much on the inside, too much inside the metal. So that needs Alt Z, Alt A, B. The head must be a lot higher. Well, don't exaggerate either. Turn off the and make it rounder again here. So let's test this one again. Okay. Shift D, and this is good. It must come out of the metal and reach over the gemstones, all right? Or otherwise, and check that you're not coming out on the other side. This is very basic. Now Shift D, Shift D, Shift D here. All right, Shift D, Shift D. Shift D, Shift D. It's always a lot of fun to do that, like this. So again, I don't use add-ons because you have a lot more control when you do this by hand, and it's fast. The proof is here today. I do a ring like this in 1 hour. I'm almost done when the entire ring would have been done in 1 hour with no add-on at all. It's not necessary. Blender has all the tools you need right from the core, right from the start. Okay, let's select all these guys, but not this one. All right, let's do a Control J. These are the side prongs. Let's make a mirror based on the central gemstone. Emerald, where are you? Emerald. Emerald, X and Y. Okay, we have the prongs for these guys. We still need some borders and prongs for these small guys, and then we need the cutters we need the cutters for all these side diamonds. All right, so let's take the border. Let's tweak a bit. Sorry, those not there. Okay, anyway, let's copy this. Delete. So I made a copy, then I deleted all the vertices, and now when I create new vertices, the configuration of the bevel is already ready. It's already the same, okay? That's why I do that. Because it's a lot faster than starting a new bevel curve. Okay, and here, Alt A, Control left mouse button, and we have the same settings already for the bevel with the profile and all of that. All right. All right. So now let's remove the snap for a second, and don't forget to use the snap so everything goes directly to the surface and close to the objects that you are using right now. Okay, here let's tweak. Yeah, let's tweak the angle there, and I want this more on the inside, a bit under, or slightly touching, very slightly touching the gemstones. But like this one, this is all right, because then when we set the gemstones, the burr makes the work, makes the hole, we'll have no problems manufacturing that. And these guys there. Okay, and do I have some vertex? Yeah, there's a vertex there. I don't know why. Thanks. Okay, these are just these borders there. Okay, this is great. Now let's tweak. Let's tweak the tilt, the twist. It could be called the twist also. Tilt is a pretty good word. I like the tilt. Okay, let's tweak. I want it more. Okay, this is great. Now we prongs here, so that's why I made the original prong there and kept the copy this time. Shift D, because if you use a prong that already has rotations, you'll never reset the prong properly to a 0 state. So okay, here we're going to need a double prong reset. This is pretty correct. Okay, here I want no rotation on Z. And I want, no, sorry, Y. And okay, I want the prong to be like this. So like I said, don't forget to use numerical inputs. It's very important. All right, and here, all these prongs. Now let me check this one. I don't need this one. If you have, well, you can work with 2 prongs on very small stones. It works without much problems. Okay, this is great, and this one has 3 though, so we'll be fine all the way. I want it lower so it doesn't touch. Let's make it even smaller. Okay, this is great. Okay, these prongs, tack, 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 select them. Control J. Make the mirror. So this ring is obviously faster to create because it's symmetrical. But as you know, generally, well, jewelry is mostly symmetrical. Well, obviously, there's a lot of jewelry that is not symmetrical, more organical jewelry, etc., etc. But it tends to be more artistic jewelry and not commercial jewelry. Commercial jewelry is very, very traditional, and that means very, very symmetrical. Here I can treat my prongs in edit mode if necessary, and this is great. This is great, and now we need the cutters, and we're done. And we're done. We're done. We're done. Or we're pretty much done. Okay, cutters. So what I need to do now is that I must take everything that is curves. So all the side structures that I've made here are curves. So I can't use Booleans on that, and that's not so good. Okay. So it means that, let me check something on this. Okay, this has a remesh. Let me go at 0.5 so it's smoother. Okay, whatever. I need to take everything that are curves, and that's basically all of these side structures. I'm going to copy them, Shift D, Alt C to make them meshes, Control J, and this is the entire, this is the ring body. So now here I'm just, okay, before I do that, I need to redo it because this border needs some tweaking, because if you look at it, it's not touching the side. Here we can see there's a space. It's not much, but it's too much. I need it to come lower there. Okay, now it's touching the metal. It should be all right. So check your details. Okay, so all the border, and here I don't like, let me tweak this. Okay, it's this one needs to go higher. I want it to come out smoothly. Okay, to come out and then to come back in. Okay, so the curve there is pretty. Now all of this, again, don't forget the side structure there. Okay, this is Shift D, Alt C, Control J, ring body. So now this is a mesh. So I can hide. Let me see if I can find all these. Okay, perfect. So now this is a mesh. If I go to edit mode, you can see the topology. Very pretty topology because it's made using curves at a pretty nice resolution. We need this kind of quality. Well, the topology can be a disaster in jewelry. For 3D printing, you can have a very dirty topology. It doesn't matter. As long as the solid shape is all right, we don't really care. But it's very pleasant to work with a nice topology. So you should train to get clean topology. It's more about your level of knowledge and control of the software than really a real necessity for manufacturing and 3D printing. Just saying. It's like culture, you know, it's like digital culture. Make a pretty topology. It shows that you're mastering your design workflow, and you should have a pretty topology. So anyway, now these gemstones, I need them to be Control J. Now let's do a Shift D. Let's call these cutters. There. Now, these are the cutters. So I need the cutters and the body of the ring. So these are the cutters. They are going to need, well, let's make an Alt C so we don't have the mirror anymore, but let's do a remesh at 0.05 should be good. Okay, and now let's take the body of the ring. That is already a mesh. Now Boolean fast from the cutters diamonds. There, let's do a local view. Okay, something is let's try exact for a second. Okay, there's something that needs remeshing. Let's check the normals first. It's pretty good, but are the diamonds cutter? No, not these ones, the other ones. Okay, so we need a remesh. Apparently the shank has. Okay, let's do a remesh on the shank. And so this is when the polygon count goes up a lot, because we're going to go at 0.03. But this is very fast. And now we do the Boolean from the cutters. It should come out clean. Otherwise, we have some strange holes. That's very common here with Booleans. And Blender is really good with Booleans anyway. So now this is totally clean. remember earlier, without the remeshing, there were holes right there. So the mesh was getting destroyed. But now we're good. And just hide the colors here and there. Okay. Here we are. Somebody asked, was Burak Budak at the beginning, how long do I take to create a ring in Blender? And I answered 1 or 2 hours, and this was done live here in Blender 3.4. I did 1 hour to complete a halo ring with a central stone, an emerald central stone. So the modeling took me 1 hour with a very nice design, and this is created. I did not follow any drawing or any photograph. It's done from scratch. And that's what happens when you train every day during, well, all the time you can. And now actually I do work less than before. I go and touch grass, like they say. I train every 2 days, whatever. I go to the gym, I go swimming. I go to the supermarket, I play with my cats. I go out on dates, and that's all. So, Blender is great. You don't need any add-on to create jewelry in Blender. What you need to do is model your own gemstones, but like I said at the beginning, my channel already covered all of that. And if you like to support my channel by example, you can buy the gemstone asset on the Blender market. And now, well, for today, that's great. I'm very happy of the results. So this ring is done. Oh, here we have the same. Look at this. Before I go, let's do a remesh here. Before the Boolean right there. This is clean. Fine. Okay, what I'm going to do before I'm going to show that this object, what we're going to do is we're going to export this as an STL. Let's go export STL. Now let me go here and let's save. So this is live 8 February 2023. Ring halo emerald STL. Don't forget to put selection only, export STL. So this ring is made solely at real scale to be manufactured with 3D printing. So obviously I need to export it as an STL. Okay, it's taking long. So what we need to do now, let's go to new, well, whatever, import STL. The new STL import in Blender is 10 times faster than earlier. Actually, if you go to the menu file, export or import, or the importing the STL, now you can see the new STL experimental build. There's the older STL import build. There's the new STL experimental build is 10 times faster. You can see that. The ring is, wait a second. It should be here. Okay, 200 megabytes. For an STL, it's obviously way too heavy. Let's import the STL. You're going to see that it's going to load very fast. Here it is. That's the STL file, but it's too heavy. When you have that, you go to modifiers, decimate, and we have 4 millions. I need less than 1 million. Let's go at 0.1 ratio. Obviously, you need to check that decimating your mesh is not taking away any detail you need, any important geometry, because obviously decimating removes vertices and faces. So the decimate is going to make my mesh a lot lighter, because we're going to remove a lot of of what? A lot of geometry, but obviously it can also destroy your geometry. So you must beware. All right, generally the decimating modifier in Blender is very good. It means that it's going to conserve your geometry. Look at this. This one is decimated. Now it's 10 times lighter. So now I go to File, Export, STL again. Only selection. I overwrite the same file and it's going to be very fast. Okay, now it's exported. If I go to Import STL, we can see that the new size of the file of my STL is 20 megabytes when it was 200 megabytes. That's called experience in exporting as an STL. It needs a lot of training. Many people don't know how to do that. Then you need an STL doctor. So the most famous one is the NetFab Basic. Now it's from Autodesk. Sadly, Autodesk by NetFab. I have a very old version, so it's not from Autodesk. Okay, here we have some warning. You need to repair your STL with an STL doctor. Generally, the default repair is going to take care of everything, but not all the time. Then repairing an STL file is also hard. This one was very easy. Okay, it's repaired. All right. Now this is repaired. All right, here we are. And now what we do is export STL. Let's overwrite the same STL. Yes, repair again. You have the second grade of reparations there. And this file is ready for 3D printing. So this ring was done in Blender 3.4, totally from scratch in 1 hour and so, maybe 1 hour and 30 minutes to be, no, but it was faster. It was like 1 hour and 15 minutes. But the time, well, it's important, but also this design is, well, this design is really pretty. I was lucky because I was inspired. You need to be lucky to be inspired also. It's not that easy, but I do this every day. So basically that's how it goes. Now here I see that the prongs on the inside, these guys, they're not long enough. I just saw that now, so let me redo the same process, extrude. Okay, let's check all the details. Okay, again, okay, so I'm going to redo this. Let's take all of that, export. Let's export on the same file. So it's going to come out way too heavy, like we already saw earlier. So the original STL is 200 megabytes, even a bit more. And the other day, somebody, okay, the heaviest STL I've seen in my life was more than 1 gigabyte big. And Blender was able to handle it. Some people don't believe me, but I have proof of existence, and because I manufactured the object, so whatever. Import STL. Again, we need to decimate this again. All right, so this is my STL right there, but this is the heavy one. Let's go to decimate. Let's go ratio 0.1. And this one is like almost 5 million, a bit less. Well, 4,407,786 face count. And Blender don't really have much problem handling that. Somebody this week became totally crazy when I told them that Blender is good at mesh editing. The guy went like, he insulted me for hours on Twitter because I said that mesh editing, well, or handling also, but even mesh editing, you'll have problems over 10 millions. That's true. but even you can go at 15. Many computers are going to crash. So the guy, I told the guy that he had a workflow problem, and if you have heavy meshes, there are ways to handle them better, and also it depends a lot on your hardware. On my computer, I know that around 15 millions, the Blender is going to close at 15 millions. But my CPU is very old and my memory is DDR4 and I only have, well, 32 megabytes. If you put 128 gigabytes, sorry, of RAM and buy a Threadripper, with a Threadripper you can go easy at more than 20 millions. You can reach easy 40 millions with a better hardware. This is a lot of hardware. On my system, I can go easily at 10 millions, 15 millions. Once I reach 40 millions without crashing Blender, and I was able to make the STL, do some mesh editing on it. And yes, it's true, it's a bit slow, it's a bit tedious, but with a proper workflow, you can handle very heavy geometry in Blender. So this one was almost 5 millions. I cut it down to 400,000. And the STL, let me open the software again. I just went and corrected the prongs. So anyway, for today, we're there. This is the end. This is the end. Now let me finish with importing again and repairing the STL again right here in NetFab. Okay, so this has a warning. Actually, you can see that it's only on the prongs. There are 4 non-manifold edges on 4 of the prongs of this ring. Apply the repair and we're done again. So basically this does take years of training, and not only in 3D modeling. You need to train as jewelers. In real life, you need to learn to carve wax, to make technical drawings, to manufacture jewelry by hand, soldering, gemstone settings. Also take classes about gemology, obviously, and then study 3D modeling, and you'll become a great 3D jewelry designer in Blender. But this is because I have 20 years of training in real life jewelry. It's not just in a couple of weeks I became a 3D designer. I started modeling jewelry in the year 2001. So that's like 20, yeah, that's 20, more than 20 years of modeling jewelry. I was already training as a jeweler. I was an apprentice in the year 2000. And I never stopped making jewelry since then. So obviously the training in all the techniques of the craftsmanship as a jeweler is more important than 3D modeling. It's not even necessary to 3D model to be an excellent jeweler. Many jewelers don't do any 3D modeling and 3D printing, and they're very famous. They make a lot of money and they're excellent jewelers, and they don't make anything in 3D. They do everything by hand. I did that for almost 2 decades. Then I started teaching a lot. Well, I started teaching in 2004. I started teaching jewelry making, jewelry drawing, and 3D modeling. But I really started making 3D jewelry, like to manufacture jewelry, in 2008, when the first printers arrived to Mexico and we could start 3D printing these designs. So for me, it's not new at all. And actually it's getting boring, obviously. But obviously because I'm lucky that my clients are asking more complicated designs than this, because this is not very interesting. It's interesting, but not very interesting. Okay, so anyway, thanks thanks to all. Thanks for joining today. This is it for today. So it was the first live stream of the year. I hope you enjoyed this stream a lot. I created a halo ring in a bit more than 1 hour. Thanks for joining me and joining me, and take care and see you soon. All right, great. Thank you. I'm just waiting that, okay, I think the stream is done. 1 hour, 45 minutes. Okay, and keep subscribing, become members. Actually, the members, they get 3D design, complete 3D design, and scenes, and materials, and light setups, and environments for the jewel 3D scene. So becoming members is a pretty cool way to support the channel, or go to Blender Market and buy my assets. Always have to make some bit of marketing around here. Luckily, my main job is 3D modeling, so I can keep making the tutorials anyway, and the channel is growing, so that's great. So thanks again, take care. I'll be doing more live streams as tutorials this year, like this one today, and have a nice day. See you soon, take care, bye bye.